Hasteinn Haesteinn had ruled for many years over China, but one day when standing up from his throne, he felt his bones creak in a way he had never felt before. I think I'm gonna die in a year, so better get started on preparing the dynasty. My name is Koifish, and as I said in the last video, I'm going to continue this playthrough as an observer. What will happen to the Hasteinn dynasty once Hasteinn ascends to Valhalla? Well, that's what we're gonna find out in this video, as I'm going to take the backseat and start observing this world rather than playing it over the years of a full playthrough of Crusader Kings 3. House Hasteinn has 78 members, as Jarl Haesteinn has been banging 20 concubines consequently since the end of the last video. This has resulted in 42 children and more currently on the way. And so, Hasteinn of Hasteinn has abandoned his mortal coil at the age of 100! 100 years old, Hasteinn! I think it's high time that we take a step back. To do this, we switch character and enter observation mode. Let the great simulation commence. Alright, so the first thing I will do is sort of check the current situation of things and see if there's any characters we need to keep an eye on. To begin with, Ragnarr. He's the main character right now. We need to make sure that he keeps on ruling China. And we're gonna see if he gets any crazy revolts or if he just breaks the treasury. There's also Intendant Styrbjörn, who rules Japan, and Grand Chancellor Hasteinn Silvertongue. What a goddamn title. Oh, first revolt, I think. That is the Intendant Shauman of Fujian against the tyranny of Ragnarr. Already a potentially deposed situation if he enforces demands. Ragnarr becomes deposed, and Imperial Prince Anundur Ragnarsson takes over. He's put on his big old helmet, he's going to war. There's also the war to remove Grand Chancellor Haesteinn as the regent of Yamato. But the war leader, Gentleman Chao Chijuan, he has 32 troops. I don't think he's gonna pull through. We also need to keep an eye on the Asatru situation. Currently a few counties that actually follow Asatru themselves, but the top leaders are Asatru, so they are actively converting the territories as we speak. Oh, that's bad. There's a peasant uprising. Where? Here in the middle of China. But here comes the army. Oh, and it's defeated. Let's go! Damn. Okay, I'm not gonna say I'm hoping for the collapse of the Hasteinn dynasty. But if this is just gonna be me playing to the end date and the Hasteinn people, they just keep ruling China, I'm gonna be impressed. Now, a thing I'm noticing, for example here in Grand Chancellor Hasteinn Silvertongue's territory, is that it's a whole lot of defensive wars, not aggressive wars. It's a lot about protecting your position. Here, Governor Shuhan the Sage is trying to depose the great and glorious Hasteinn Silvertongue. We're also gonna see progressively less and less control the further we get away from Hasteinn himself. For example, Ragnarr, he has amazing stats, really good diplomacy. It's honestly a really great starting character. Among his children, we can see King Hrothgeir, Hasteeinn's son, who is king of the circuit of Kwangchong, ruling from Gwil. Oh, treasury tanking. This is potentially game ending for the Hasteins. Not only is the treasury tanking in the natural treasury, he's also insanely in debt, most likely for hosting his massive armies. The Varangian veterans are expensive. They're crucial to keeping control of the territory, but they cost him an arm and a leg. I fear that this might be the end. Alright, already we have some people independent. That's really bad. China is slowly splintering, but that is the natural way of China, of course. Oh, rest in peace, Ragnarr Haesteinn's son. He joins me in the hot seat here in Valhalla, looking down, being like, damn, this is disappointing. Now it's Anundur Ragnarsson, the son of Ragnarr, grandson of Haesteinn. His stats are mediocre, and he's inheriting a China with a massively tanked treasury. He's ambitious, that's good. Zealous, that could prove to be an undoing if he tries to push the religion too hard. But worst of all, he is deceitful. His scheming might keep him on the throne, but his education sure as hell won't. His son, Prince Ragnarr, is gonna ascend when this man inevitably gets thrown out the window by angry Chinese mobsters. Here's a fun thing I just noticed. Commandant Styrbjörn is actually born son of Hasteinn, but also son of Rashida, who we captured all the way in, I think like Crete or somewhere along here to become our concubine. That, I don't think anyone expected that. Oh, but we see splintering. It is King... Oh my god! It's brother wars! It's Anundur Ragnarsson fighting against his own brother, King Hrothgeir Haesteinn's son. Only 29 years old and a sodomite. but honestly, way more diplomatic in ruling. And it's looking like it might not end up too well for, oh, someone else took over the rebellion. Did you kill your brother? Did you just kill your own brother? He did! He bloody did! He was he was mangled by a leopard. Oh, that's certainly one way history can go. That means, however, this revolt is taken over, as they're now trying to put Sigurbjörn the Timid, a very good stats character, but of course he's content, he's shy, and he's humble. This is gonna be a puppet to the Chinese people to rule over, not a figurehead to lead them. But of course that revolt has been put down. Great job, Huangdi Anunder. Let's go over to Japan. It's still ruled by Commandant Styrbjörn the Berserker, and he's currently winning a revolt. But we see that Yamato, under Count Timbunai, a bastard founder, is managed to slip its way out. Interesting. I'm surprised that Japan hasn't launched an invasion to reconquer them, but judging by his army being rather weak, I honestly think that Styrbjörn might be able to hold this for as long as he can. Of course, he's gonna die, and that's gonna go to Prefect Kui Tianguang, who has the lover's box, something he shares with Hasteinn. That is of course not a Hasteinn house member, but alas, the circle of Yamato is gonna be divided however the Huangdi sees fit, and the Hangdui has changed! It is now Sigurbjörn the Timid! Oh my god, the revolt succeeded! Or did it? If we go to title history, we can see that Huangdi Ragnarr Haesteinsson actually died of old age. And then it was appointed to Gentleman Anunder Ragnarsson, who was ousted in a faction that most likely won right after the death of Ragnarr, and now Sigurbjörn the Timid rules. Oh, I spoke ill about you, but maybe with his great intelligence, he'll be able to pull through. I will say, however, that the Hasteinn house has reached 157, 58, 59. Can we do it 60? Can it 160? What? 160 members. Holy moly. And a lot of them have some great titles. But we're seeing something incredibly sad here. Huangdi Sigurbjörn, as I predicted with his content, shy and humble nature, has simply let go of ruling most of the Chinese mainlands here. Yishu, Shu, Wu, Shu, Lu Shu, and Eshu. God damn it, how many feet do we have? That's too many shoes. They've all broken free. And we are seeing a splintering of China. Not good. I do wonder what sort of phase we're in the Son of Heaven type thing. It could just be natural. It could just be that. And Sigurbjörn just died before our very eyes. He was, of course, murdered by Anunder. No way! A brother killing a brother. What on earth? Why would you do that? Maybe he prefers Huangdi Skuli. Maybe that's why he murdered him. He was like, I'd rather see you dead than suffer the shame of losing China. Huangdi Skuli Sigurbjörnsson is forgiving. That could be good. Content just like his father, but he is lustful. The hot blood of Hasteinn still runs through their veins. That's good. Get plenty of concubines, buddy. You deserve it. What he has a problem with, though, is his legitimacy. It is so horrifically low. But some things remain the same, as Styrbjörn the Berserker still rules Yamato. God damn it, that's an actual son of Hasteinn still alive. I mean, there's gonna be a sons of Hasteinn alive for a long while, but they're starting to actually grow up. The youngest out of the Hasteinn children is already 27, and it's Imperial Princess Rikitsa Haesteinsdotter, the Hunchback. The oldest of the Hasteinn children is actually Imperial Princess Tora Haesteinsdotter, who I remember when I played. Little Tora, who was just a little baby. Nah, this is a goddamn shield maiden, and she's been fighting in the front lines for a long while. May you rest in peace, you never had any children. Why is that? Maybe shield maidens don't need to have children. Some women bring people into life, and some women take them away. Tora is the latter. Honestly, I am surprised that Sörkvir, that's not the same guy. What happened? Sigurbjörn the Timid died. Prince Skuli was appointed and then ousted by a faction, and now, holy moly, this is an actual Shad ruler, Huangdi Sörkvir, the Gracious. He's of noble bearing, that's good. He is brave, he's just, and he's generous. He is, however, possessed and speaks to Odin. Don't we all? I suspect that his rule is gonna be long, just, and actually reclaiming a lot of the territories that were lost by his predecessors. We are seeing rebellions, plenty of populist uprisings. Can Huangdi Sörkvir keep it together? He certainly can't keep the economy running. He's so much in debt. I think we are watching live as China will be splintering through factions unless that claimant faction can pull through and put Hasteinn Yngvar on the throne. Yngvar, of course, being a great and glorious warrior. He is vengeful, he is paranoid, he is wrathful. He's opting to not attack the claimant faction as much. And yes, he was able to stop the revolt. Very good. Circvir, I am honestly amazed. You were able to keep it together this hard. You've made a new house. Shangan Hasteinn. With Spear I seek faith. This is of the normal Hasteinn dynasty that has a total of 189 living members. We have to keep an eye on the Duke level characters, especially those that have a little shield above their coat of arms. That means they're adventurers like Lord Haesteinn the Poet, son of Hasteinn Silvertongue. He's over here in the north. Is he in Korea? He is in Korea adventuring together with his one child, Hasteinn Haesteinsson Hasteinning. Tell you what, I'm gonna keep this running. I'm gonna go for a little snack. And when we're back, it's gonna be like historians have completely forgotten about a few centuries. Probably like a rye bread with fish on it. That's what I'm gonna go eat. Okay. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I got my rye bread. I'm ready to... Where's China? China! Where is it? Did they just delete the Hasteinn dynasty? I can't... Well, there! It's still there. And they still have their living members, but the emperor is gone! I need to go back here and see what happened. Okay, so when he was killed in a siege on the 27th of December, it went to his son, who was also killed in the same siege. Well, they crowned a baby and then killed him. What the hell? It then went to gentleman Xiang of the Chang Hasteinn family, who destroyed the title. Why would you do this? He's calm, content, and gregarious. He just wants to party. You destroyed China. It's gone. It's now ruled by various Sino-Norse warlords. That's... What? As it seems, the Hasteinn family does not want to rule. And we have a few, of course, rulers that still could end up on the throne, like Jarl Alvar Tykesdottir here. But oh my god. This changes everything. Why would you do that? Historians would never know. We'll see if China can. I mean, this certainly puts things in a different perspective. Can China reunite? And if so, is it gonna be a Hasteinn on the throne? We do have Queen Shen, Chuangshuansdottir, of course, because the Sinors still follow the naming traditions, and this is also a grandkid of Hasteinn. We still see that House Hasteinn has some territory that they rule independently, and it's under Gentleman Onundur II, Drifason. He's doing alright. He has no army though. It's just a noble family. But noble families can surprisingly rise to power through exams. Of course, that wasn't really shown in my video because I did it the Hasteinn way. Oh, and he also lost his arm. That's gonna make exams significantly harder. But you can absolutely climb your way back up. Now, another main character here is Boss Holmgeir Haesteinsson, who is leader of the Asur Norse. That is a warband, and they actually have huskarls and siege crossbows. And he is truly Asatru and Norse. I would be surprised if these freebooters, criminals, wouldn't be able to steal a kingdom. Imagine being a descendant of Hasteinn and you're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just raid China. I'm gonna raid China for all it's worth. That honestly is such a good way to honor his legacy. But to say that the Hasteinn dynasty has had a fall from grace? Nah, buddy. It took a goddamn skydive from grace. The Hasteinn dynasty literally destroyed China. Why? I still can't. I don't understand. Why would you do this? It is split into 10 different houses. Of course, there is the original living house still, but now that we don't have access to 2,000 concubines, we can't really keep on reproducing as we did before. And it is only logical that a dynasty would slowly but surely lose members if it doesn't have power, because most women would then marry non-matrilinearly, meaning about half, 40% roughly, don't make new ones. So it's only natural the dynasty would recede without power. As currently, the strongest rulers we have that hold any titles is an adventurer and a mercenary. Oh, I changed my mind! It is Governor Hasteinn Bersi that rules over Qing... Oh, he's dead. Oh, well, he was found while it lasted. But it seems that Wang Tzu Jingtong, a Jingchui Han Chinese, not Sinors, not Asatru is starting to really push into China, and it might be him who reclaims the celestial throne. But the Norse in the south, they are adamant on holding, on controlling, as we see the granddaughter of Hasteinn, now dead of course, but the grandchild of Hasteinn, King Tjostolfur Jörundursson and Asatru Sinor's Shad, who we can still very much see has some of that Hasteinn blood in him, he is actually controlling Dongxuan. He might be the only one that has the ability to go up against Wang Tzu Chengqi II, who is currently fighting a tyranny war against Governor Barder the Unchaste. And Asatru Sinor's, it just keeps repeating. It's going in circles, and I love it. Over here in Japan, I think we can be safe to say that the Sinors have been really reduced. They only control this territory, and I only think it's the people. I mean, there is a chance of an uprising, but I think Japan has been lost to Gugwan Kim Aeon-yi, the trickster. He is a Korean, but would you look at this? It is not only Hasteinn that has made it here, as currently traveling en route from Scandinavia to China, we have leader Geir Sigfropsson of the Woodpeckers of the Ice House, great name by the way. He's of course a Norse character. How did you end up here? He can trace his lineage all the way back to Jarl Ivar the Boneless and even Ragnarr Lothbrok. How utterly fascinating. More confusing though is, why is he Norse and not just Norse? We don't know. Historians never figured that out. But they went for a coffee break or something. Now, while the Hasteinn dynasty is still alive, what we're seeing more and more is that Norse characters are being able to keep their own. Here we go, Hasteinn House. Yeah, the dynasty is in heavy decline. 114 members. China is nothing to mess with. And it seems that our greatest legacy is Captain Hasteinn Thorbrand of Yao Band of Lanzhou, a mercenary leader. He's doing alright for himself, but I've found that mercenary leaders usually doesn't manage to get into power the same way that, for example, a adventurer would. But we still have some Hasteinn members. For example, Lamte Hasteinn here, he rules land. And they have the hegemony of China claim to them still. But hey, I can say some great news. Ratcha Nong Segong the Repulsive, who belongs to the... oh, I can't pronounce this culture. He's actually Asatru. Properly Asatru, and not just that, he rules Asatru lands. There are Odin praising people here of the Yi culture, and that, my friend, makes me very happy. But once again, the battle for heaven here is between Wang Tzu Chengqi and King Jörundur Tjostolfursson. Great and glorious ruler. His army is a bit lacking. He could have more, but as you can see, he does have his Bundi. Who is he allied to? Count Hörtha Knutur Holmfrithersson, an Asatru Sinor's man. Look at you, absolute Chad. Absolute Chad. So once these two are gonna butt heads, that's who gets China. It is as simple as that. Whoever wins that war, he will rule China. Though I think we can safely say that Japan might be lost forever. But let's get ourselves a Hasteinn update. House Hasteinn now have less than 100 members. We were up to 150. Oh, it's happening! The battle for heaven is happening! It's Emperor Su Chengxi attacking King Suni Renguison, who has plentiful of allies. He's taken in Master Dai Siven Strong of the Harbingers of Odin. Who on earth are you? I see he's the grandson of Hasteinn Unner, who is an actual daughter of Hasteinn. You're one of the actual ones. Born to Asa, a concubine, who became celibate after the death of Hasteinn. What a woman. What a woman right there. I can't believe it. So the descendants of Hasteinn are actively fighting and helping the current Norsemen. It's still there. King Suni, ale lover. He loves ale. Actively trying to defend, but it's hard. It is a hard thing to stand up against an emperor. Emperor Su Chengxi, who is really trying to consolidate that hegemony of China. He's currently losing. That's what we want to see. I'd rather have the Asatru ale lover here, King Suni, and Emperor Su Chengxi. He has like no troops. Right, but he still has the empire and he can call in those troops. So of course, I'm stupid. Yes, he has a lot of troops, and worse than that, he has a massive treasury. He's currently winning the war against the ale lover, and things can move quickly here. One person captured, one war taken, a siege here, a battle there. Boom, war is over. King Suni is, after all, also facing against a Hmong Jingshui uprising, and it seems to be claiming a lot of his land, and it's gonna fire 1, 2, 3, boom! Lady Zhang Jing might have put the death knell against China here. And right away, she joins! Oh my god! Hey, we're just trying to do an uprising. Boom! Instantly captured by the Greater Empire. Holy moly! Holy moly! Will we see the hegemony reformed once more? Well, there is the Kyrgyz Khanate over here. I don't know how he managed to sleep here. And he has a ridiculous amount of troops. So, no matter what happens, I think the Mongols get the last laugh. And that's something we could not have expected. Nobody expects Kagan Yeshin Horlo. This makes me sad. Let's look at Hasteinn. Once more, we have a governor in place here. Kusi, he's an Asatru, but he is Yamato. Most likely one of the sons that came from Japan. Interesting. He's of House Hasteinn though. Alright, let's give this another, well, rye sandwich. And we'll see if he manages to bring back the hegemony of China. Gentlemen, I went for another rye sandwich. And China has grown larger. Huangdi Yeshin Horlo, a Kursamata Are, he's a Zoroastrian, a horse lord, has conquered all of China. And he has once more restored the hegemony title. Let's go! Not since the days of Imperial Prince Xiang, that Hasteinn bastard. It's literally back. Let's go! I mean, here I was thinking that, like, oh, who's gonna take it? Is it that guy or that guy? Nope, it's the Mongol. And dear lord, does he look snazzy. Oh, I love to see it. But are the Hasteinn still around? That's not Hasteinn. That's the full album to an absolute banger that I'm listening to right now. Alright, so we have 56 living members. That's actually better than I thought. And we have Gentleman Haesteinn Holmgeir II, the leecher of Nagoka Hasteinn family. Well, let's see how long he gets to rule. I will also say Japan is now ruled by Prime Minister Kim Bo-jeon, still a Korean, that has also unified Korea. That's great. Good for you. Are the Asatru still around? Yes, but severely diminished. They exist, but they're being ruled by other lieges now. Do we have any Asatru leaders, perhaps? Oh yeah, no, they're still very much around. And the most powerful of the Asatru rulers are actually Minister Kolbjörn Håkansson, one of the Sinors. He rules quite a significant area here in Shu. He's also Sinors. I wonder how many Sinors people do we have? Oh, the Sinors culture is not going anywhere. 1,659 characters. We made our impact. How many of those are still Asatru? 600, about 700. So there are 700 descendants of the Viking culture that Hasteinn hybridized with. And a lot of them are Asatru, and a lot of them are still lords. Keep your sword and keep your faith, my good man. Odin will prevail. Hasteinn will return. Son of heaven, now in Valhalla, back to earth. That's a guarantee from me. High King Mads, the corrupt of Scandinavia, of King Sigurd. Is this a descendant of King Sigurd? It bloody well is! And he's on his way to forming the High Sea Kingdom by the looks of it. He's taken Scotland, Ireland, most of Scandinavia. God damn, good on you! Very impressive. The Holy Roman Empire is here, ruled by a Slovenian man. Okay, I dig it. The Abbasids are absolutely terrifyingly massive. And Iceland, I mean, they're just vibing. Your Ketilmundur the Wolf, his wife being like, I told you not to stay on Iceland. Well, I'll stay on Iceland if I want to. I told you we were gonna be stuck here. Is there a chance for us to see the Asatru Reformation? He rules Nidaros. He rules Sigtuna. He's on the way to taking Paderborn or a Jarl Haesteinn. If he does, the Asatru faith will most likely be reformed. And if that happens, what happens to the Asatru faith here? That's up for us to see if we survive that long. Alright, let me go get a sandwich. Ah! It's happened! Huangdi Ruanqilang of Qian has taken over, and he follows the Asatru religion. Let's go! Asatru Emperor! Let's go! Odin's Emperor, he returned! The Son of Heaven is once more Odin's champion! But what makes me immensely sad, it's not over yet, but 22 members, we are dwindling. Listen, it's up to you, Hasteinn Chengen. He's not even Asatru or Norse. He's Hmong. He's Hmong. Could this be what we've been waiting for, however? Governor Thorolf of Huangnan, a glorious little holding here over in China. He rules quite a lot of land. Very good. He is a descendant of Hasteinn. His father is very much alive, and he's starting to pick up some concubines. Hopefully, you can bring about the next generation of Hasteennings. Other than him, however, we only have 16 living members. It is truly going downhill, but we're seeing a lot of males born. But sad news from the homeland, the old country. The Catholic Danes, with the Lombard they put in charge of the throne, he's currently absolutely wrecking them. And Scandinavia has lost its power over Ireland, as a High King Abban Ironside, hilarious fitting name for someone that beats up Vikings, is actively attacking Emperor Thorbjorn Skúlisson, who is not as powerful as his predecessors, and trying to take as much land as possible. There is a war for Ulster, there is a war for Isle of Man, and there is just constant harassment of the Norsemen. Also, this Sami man, King Jarl, totally stole half of the country. He's a peasant uprising leader, and now he's getting another peasant uprising against him. We also have some other oddities. For example, King Snovid over here, he'll use Bjarmaland. He's a Nestorian Christian Polish man. The Khazars are absolutely ravaging the steppes still. They're attacking. Oh my god, they're overrunning the Sultanate of Persia. Wallachia is the only one that still remains somewhat historical, but the Byzantines, yeah, no, they're not there anymore. I'm sorry, I wasn't meant to come back this early. I wanna have some more years run, but I just found the Swedes. High Chieftain Håkan II Tomasson of the Swedes. Of course, the Swedes here in the beautiful holding of the Swedes. It is a Kusarite, a Jewish, Swedish nomadic person. What on earth is going on? How did you end up there, Håkan? And how long have you been here? There also seems to be some trouble in the Abbasid lands. It looks to be a sort of big old independence war. I think Caliph Tawik, the lover of elegance here, he's doing some sort of Alexander the Great thing and trying to conquer India, but that's as far as it gets because these Gujarati shads, they're gonna say no to that. They're gonna be like, nah, buddy, no closer than this. And because of that, I think he's gonna lose the Greek lands. Back to China. It is no longer ruled by an Asatru man. He died, and his son is actually following the Kurma, that religion. While Japan is currently very much Korean. That is hilarious. What a switch up. Now, this might really make you sad, so please get a towel, because, just kidding, they're still here, and you better believe it, we rule an entire kingdom. The circuit of Hebei has more or less constantly been under Hasteinn control since I gave it. And what is this? No, stop it. Are we attacking the hegemony of China? Yes, but not to claim it. But a Hasteinn son is up there and vying for the throne of heaven once more again. Gentlemen, we have come to another interesting point of history. Emperor Zuko the Stout, ruler of Japan, is Norse. A Norse character, a descendant of the Norsemen, now rule over Korea, Japan, and most of China. That's crazy. I can't believe that. It's wild. And even wilder, the Hasteinn family is slowly but surely recovering. Let's go. That's glorious. They're still not out. You can't count out Hasteinn. There is Governor Sverker of Zhuangcha. He's very happy looking, just like Hasteinn. He's lustful as all hell. And he rules a significant area here in Jiarong, which is the de facto now China, I guess. Ruled by the Sinorse Zhao hybridization. Sinorse, of course, being a hybridization between Norse and Han. It's absolutely wonderful. And yes, if you were wondering, the Swedes are still there! The Medvexky Swedes! All I can say is the Abbasids are still going under Alexander the Great cosplay with 100,000 troops, while Little China here only has 28,000. But that's besides the point. They still have Varangian veterans who have served rulers of China since long millennia ago. I honestly did not expect the Koreans, out of all the people, to take over Japan and then fill the power vacuum in China. But as you can see, there are still a lot of Sino-Norse characters roaming around. 1,400 to be exact. I think that those numbers have grown. Out of those, only 15 are Asatru. As Asatru religion has taken a nosedive ever since it lost its territory. I think we are running out of locations with Asatru. If we are to find the Asatru religion, which I know I can do over here in Skolt, you can see that it only exists in one county, and that is up here in Skolt. It is safe to say that this religion lives on in our hearts, not our lands, because it just can't get a grip on this territory. Ever since the Kurma, whatever this religion is called, has come to the lands of China, it just outmatches it. There is no Asatru Norse left. But the Sinors, not so much. Still going very strong with plenty of big ministers, including Great and Glorious Emperor Surkvir of Japan. Oh, I forgot, that's not the highest title. Japan is ruled by what looks like a descendant of Hasteinn, House Gardske. My friends, I have something sad to proclaim here. House Hasteinn only has one living member, and it's Gentleman Grimr the Gracious. Grimr the Gracious, huh? And to imagine that you are a descendant of Hasteinn through your grandma and her grandpa, and a long line that follows back to Hasteinn. But he's unmarried and he's 53, and it's not looking like he's gonna have any kids. Though that's not to say that all descendants of Hasteinn are dead. There are of course those that belong to other houses. There has been 16 total, but none of them have properly survived. Holy moly, I look away for a second and yeah, there it is, the Black Death. There are only 2 living members of the Hasteinn dynasty. Holy moly, it's never been this little. Tordis, she's unmarried and 47. Both her children are of different houses. The only hope we have for the Hasteinn dynasty is Magistrate Chongli of Sitting of Langshong Hasteinn House. He's the only male living descendant of Jarl Haesteinn. He is betrothed to this woman, but she's been taken prisoner, and I'm honestly not exactly hopeful considering he is in the middle of the Black Death. It's all over the place and it's killed 2,000 characters. Holy moly! These rulers seem more or less intact. It should be said that the Abbasids, yeah, they've just blobbed. They rule everything. It's ridiculous what a great empire they managed to make. The last bastion of Christianity seems to be here in the north, with the Swedes and the Englishmen and the Welsh for some reason. As for the Sinors, yeah, they're still around and kicking. There's plenty of Sinors characters, we can check. 628 of them. They're still around, they're not going anywhere. Dwindling, sure, but it's been quite a few years, and we're rapidly approaching the end date of Crusader Kings 3. So one can only hope that Gentleman Zhongli does not let the bloodline end with him. Gentlemen, it has been 537 years since the game started, and there's something that stands out. The Abbasids, together with the Oghuz, have more or less completely conquered all of the world. Most of the world is either Ashori or Apostolic, with a very small smattering of Catholics left in the north. And then we have China, that is currently being conquered by Padishah Ari Shing ibn Hafsa of the Nagwaudid Empire, who is in a war for the hegemonic consolidation against Emperor Ulfedin II of Japan, son of Emperor Kolbjörn. Look at these Viking names! I can't believe it! Is House Gadske? Is this the actual main character of this story? Because it must be said that House Hasteinn did not make it. All of its 16 cadet branches has died out. The last living member did not sire an heir, and so the dynasty had come to an end. But it managed to attain legendary status, the highest level possible. Now let's see the legacy of Hasteinn. Well, for one, the Sino-Norse are still very much around. The Sino-Norse culture and all of the hybridization offshoots from that culture has 2,211 living characters, and multiple of those are emperors. The Asatru religion is still around, but it's mostly the very northern lords. Only a very small amount of Chinese people still pray to this religion, so we can safely say that the Asatru period of the East has come to an end. But that doesn't stop brave Varangian veterans from continuing the fight, protecting their Emperor Ulfhedin against the onslaught of the Islamic conquerors against the hegemony of China. But with only a few years left of the game, it is safe to say that the Hasteinn dynasty did not survive the ages. But their impact can still be felt in the realm and its culture. I mean, the Japanese emperors called Ulfhedin, for God's sake. I consider that at least a slight silly victory. And yes, the Sino-Norse are still there in Japan after all of these years. It is safe to say that the founding father of this house, let's just say the family tree is a bit wide, but in the end, its roots have withered. Excuse me? What on earth? How were you a part of the Hasteinn house? I hope you liked this video. It was honestly really interesting for me to see how the new DLC has affected the passing of the game. But it looks like some things never change. I'm talking about never changing. You should never change who you are. But you should click this video to check out another one of my absolute bangers. Alright, you're gonna click that on screen right now. Okay, bye!